Yeah, welcome into the Monday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody's looking forward to some Thanksgiving action later this week. Got a lot of stuff going on this week. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I hope everybody's excited about the best Thanksgiving dish, which, as we would all agree, is a well-made green bean casserole.
Well made being the key point there.
Yeah,
I've seen some poorly made green bean casserole.
Yeah, I have too. You can't. You got to have crunch. You can't be mushy. I personally, I like if we're going between like canned and frozen beans, I like canned better. That's just my preference. I mean, fresh beans are great too. I don't like the frozen beans with that. Like the super, like you can tell like they're fake coloring on the beans. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have that good. You got to have the crunch, man, and the right distribution of things. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an amazing dish, and it makes me sad that some people don't like it.
Rexrode's thought about this in great detail. Great detail. This is years building up. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Yes, texture is key when it comes to some of these casseroles. I agree with that. You have to have a layered texture.
Yeah.
You can't just be straight mush. Because, yeah, I don't know.
It's a good week for banana pudding.
So you like the green bean casserole?
I will eat some green bean casserole. It's not my favorite. I don't know, man. Like, I think my favorite might straight be the stuffing.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, good stuffing is great. But I do, now that Robby brought it up, the worst dessert on earth. Do you like banana pudding, Ian?
I'll eat it. Yeah, I eat all dessert.
Do you find it essential on Thanksgiving?
Essential? No.
Well, it's a shame Rexrode's not here, so I can't fight him in person.
I mean, the only essential dessert is pumpkin pie. But on Thanksgiving, anyways, you know.
I'd agree, but you better have a lot of whipped cream, right?
I'm down with that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're on the same page.
Thanksgiving's probably my favorite holiday.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And people just brush right by it, but it's the best one.
It's the best one.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no doubt.
Yeah, the family, the football, and the food. The F's. What I'm thankful for. The 3 F's every year.
Fart yeah, baby.
We got a lot going on today on the program. We will get into both Vanderbilt and Tennessee handling some business over the weekend, which is going to set up just a massive one on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. We will get into that a little bit later in the program. But, Joe, we began on the Tennessee Titans, who hung in there against the Seattle Seahawks, 30-24, the final score. A game where some actual, like, exciting plays happening for the Tennessee Titans. Again, this is professional sports. And I do wake up today looking at the standings in the NFL saying, oh, okay, so we have the 32nd ranked NFL team and now the 32nd ranked NHL team in this city to really just cheer about right now. So good stuff all on that front. But let me start on this, Joe. I thought it was a pretty good day from Cam Ward, all things considered. I really did. Like Seattle, their defense, how well they've been playing. You know, we talked about it heading into the matchup on Friday. This kind of felt like one of those games where you're just searching to find a way how the Titans are going to hang in the game and stay on the field. And look, it's 30-24. They did an impressive job in the second half. I mean, when's the last time, Joe, the Titans scored 21 points in the second half? I'd love to know that. I realized one of those was a punt return, but still, 21 points.
But that was awesome too.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we're going to get into him later, but my gosh, he may be their best weapon on the team with what he's able to do out there. But, Cam Ward, running into the end zone, diving through the air. Like, I thought that got the crowd going a little bit. And just some of the throws he made in the game, I thought he was pretty good. I thought there was some meaningful growth in his game yesterday. He used his legs a little bit more. I think he ran 6 times in the game yesterday. And even some other plays where he used his legs to get out of trouble and then deliver the ball. Like, I just thought that was a game I walked away from saying, you know what? That's pretty good stuff from Cam Ward yesterday.
No, I agree. I think that was his best game. And I think we've talked about it, but you saw it. I think it's continuing to improve, which is his feel for, okay, go. Whereas I think in the first half of the season, there was a lot of you should have gone up, you're sacked, or sometimes even run yourself into a sack, laterally instead of just, okay, there's a seam, there's nothing great down there, go get a few yards. And like you said, then the extending play, which again, we've seen some of these ridiculous, extend, evade, elude, roll way all the way to the right, and then make a crazy throw. We've seen that, but I thought it was also paired with, again, the running, and not really, every quarterback misses some throws in games, but I didn't see much that was like, oh God, how do you miss that throw? Or, oh, why did you make that decision? I think we're definitely seeing growth from Cam Ward. That game is kind of like, that's like the quintessential team battling for the first pick, but also you want to see good things game, right? Which is that's one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, I don't know how high on the list they are, but it's a really good team. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're a dangerous team. They have a really good defense. They got, Smith and Jigba. I hadn't watched a lot of them this year, but I mean, he is ridiculous. And so you hang with them, you're in there, you fight back. Your quarterback looks good, and by the way, you're still right there for the number 1 pick. So I know, that's kind of I hate to say like the perfect game. I know the Titans would say, "Shut up, we'd like to win a football game, please." But I think that's one of those that I guess you could call a moral victory. And we'll take all the moral victories in the city we can take.
Boy, they almost got some help yesterday too. I thought the Giants were going to do it against the Lions. I watched most of that game, and that, man. Yeah, I mean, James out there catching touchdown passes, eluding the rush, doing all he can do in the game, and then they just they let it go there at the end.
Man, seriously, Giants absolutely should. I mean, the Giants could be NFC North champs right now. Like think about all those games, but they absolutely had the Lions. This reminds me, totally off topic, but I just don't want to forget it. Did you see the quote from Illuminor of the Giants?
No,
the right tackle. Okay, I mean, just I have to just real quick. He's the right tackle. Who, by the way, all day, like Aiden Hutchinson did nothing, and then he got the sack at the end of the game. Here, I'll just read this real quick. Quote: "How do I say this respectfully? He did not do a damn thing all farting games." He strikes me as the type of guy that would try to celebrate that one play, but for most of the day I was on the island with him and he didn't do anything, blah, 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 blah. And he goes on and on. So
that's good. I like it.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
But like
in the meantime, Titans, they're still alone in last.
They are.
So got that. And I to tell you what, man, like the Jameis, those guys are going to win a game or two. Those guys are going to win. Like they're not terrible.
No, he looked good.
I don't think they are.
Looked good out there yesterday. Gunnar Helm, 6 catches for 51 yards in this game on 7 targets. So did a good job of getting Gunnar Helm the football. Chim with the 90-yard punt return. Plus he had 44 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown in the game. So good stuff from Dike in this game. They elevated James Prochet. He made a couple of big plays in the second half. The strip was caught, Joe Rexrode. He was in the game.
It's
2 catches, 26 yards for Xavier Restrepo in this game. So some excitement for Titans fans on the offensive side of the ball, Joe.
I mean, get excited. That's a really interesting, I feel like the strep performance there is like allows all sides of that whole debate to just keep screaming.
Yes.
Right? Some people are like, oh, look, see, he belongs. And then I might say, because I'm kind of in the middle, like, yeah, they should, whatever. Let's see him. I thought he might be a nice addition. He was amazing in college. You might look at that and say, yeah, I mean, Mason Kinsey could also have a 2-catch, 26-yard day as well. But I'm glad at least it's good for everybody that
just
at least
keep him
he gets out there.
Why not?
Yeah, just keep. Why not? Exactly. Just
keep him out there. I mean, it was objectively hilarious on the one play where Cam Ward is just like extending the play, running for his life. He's like, I have to find Restrepo. Let me just chuck this thing right to him. And that was the first catch of Restrepo's career, was Ward just like running around like a chicken with his head cut off in the backfield. And he's like, Restrepo! And he just chucks it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, he should have scored that. He should have caught that.
I know,
man. That was, to me, that was a chemistry play a little bit, right? I mean, like they had the connection, and I thought Cam put it in a good spot. You got to get that one.
No, I did too. Yeah, like you gotta. Can you imagine if like the first catch of his career ended up being a touchdown? I mean, Titans Twitter would have maybe like exploded on itself yesterday. It would have been amazing. Just the screaming of both sides would have been unbelievable.
The strep catchers would have just been absolutely all over the place, man.
Titans lose 30-24 to the Seattle Seahawks. They dropped to 1-10, but pretty good day from Cam Ward. We'll take your reaction on what you saw from the Titans yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
The play where you roll to the sideline, threw back to your left to find Xavier, is that something you guys have done many times in the past? And what was it like having him back out there with you?
Yeah, we've done that before. We work it, and it was great to have him on the field with me. Someone who I have a good bond with on and off the field. And he made a couple plays for us. I know some plays that he wish he won back. But every time he steps on the field, he always comes with the same mindset as he does practice. And I think that's, having them on the field is going to help our receiving core. And then along with the other guys who played well today.
That's Cam Ward yesterday, catching the strap as well. Restrepo back out there. Cam Ward, 28 of 42, 256 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, quarterback rating of 91 yesterday, which, by the way, pretty good. I think Seattle's defense was averaging a quarterback rating against Joe somewhere around like 75 yesterday heading into the game, and Cam Ward puts up 91. And looks, again, that's a good defense that they played yesterday, and they looked, wasn't great in the first half. Second half, they turned some things around, and he started to look a lot better there. So taking your thoughts on the Cam Ward front, let's head to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Dude, I don't want to see Tony Pollard anymore. Like, it's over. I mean, he's not a bad dude or anything, but like, I just got excited for the first. I realized, man, and this doesn't happen a lot, but I got excited for the first time since like September when it comes to this team. Just watching that number 8 receiver catch footballs, like, it's crazy, dude. Like, that's where we are. But honestly, and I've been moody this season too. I've been snapping on everybody about this team, and it sucks. But like, I don't know, dude. Like, yeah, they look good. I know it was a busted play, but like, there's one dude that knows how to catch these passes from him. It looks like, like these bullets. Even the one in the end zone was pretty sweet, but the one that got down to the 1 yard line looked pretty good. Like, I don't know. There's
he put some heat on the one coming down by the goal line. You let that one go.
Well, everybody likes to do the Jerry Rice thing. There's so many other receivers that this guy could. He's not Jerry Rice, but there's plenty of receivers that aren't super fast. But if he's got chemistry with the guy, man, like I said, it's the first time I've been excited about football since September. So yeah, you got to ride with this guy.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate the call.
Okay, so hold on. So Adam, all this stuff, Adam starts with Pollard. Yeah. Adam starts with got to be the downer, and let's talk about Pollard, but then transitions to, okay, so Restrepo's got to play.
He's got to play.
I mean, look, again, I don't like. It's fine for Restrepo to play. The chemistry thing, though. He played 1 year at Miami, guys. So at the end as of now, I think he's probably played more football, or he's played about the same amount of football for the Tennessee Titans as he ever did for the Miami Hurricanes with Xavier Restrepo. Okay, so like the chemistry thing, like that will get way, way better with many people he plays with in the NFL in a short period of time. Not to dunk on Restrepo, but
I just let the kid have his day yesterday. My God.
Hey, listen, it's fine. I'm glad they played him, and I'm fine with him playing the rest of the year. But like, I don't know that you should get like too attached to the idea of Xavier Restrepo being on the field and catching all kinds of passes for the Tennessee Titans in years to come. I don't think you should do that. Now, maybe he could be the next Mason Kinsey, and then Koharski can cry about it in a couple of years, and we can play that song again.
Well, I was going to get to the running backs at some point, but I guess since Adam brought it up, for the second week in a row, the leading rusher was their quarterback, and it wasn't even close. This is the numbers for the running backs yesterday, Joe. Tony Pollard, 11 carries for 20 yards. That's 1.8 a carry. And by the way, that led the way for running backs in terms of average yards per carry. Tajay Spears, 3 carries for 4 yards. And Julius Chestnut got into the action, 2 carries for 3 yards. Good stuff from the Titans running back yesterday. So that is real quick math. That is 16 carries, 27 yards for the running backs yesterday. Good stuff.
Yeah. And you only lost 30-24.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they made you completely one-dimensional. Texter's like, Tony Pollard, what the hell did I do? Just taking straight. Like, we're just talking about Cam Ward and the number 1 pick and all this stuff. And, Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard's terrible.
But if we are going to talk about the backs, yeah, look, it is. I mean, I agree with Adam. Like, it's bad. It's not good. It's very limited. And, the thing is, you look at like Spears, like Spears with 4 for 21 on the catches. He did get targeted 5 times. He did have, again, a couple players you're like, oh, okay, right? Like, you see the explosiveness that the Pollard doesn't have.
Pollard had 4 catches for 21 yards too. Don't sell him short.
Well, That is a fair point. Boy, they both had 5 targets, 4 catches. I continue to say I'd look into a little bit more work for Spears potentially. And hey, they went chestnut on short yardage and picked one up. So I don't know. How about him?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's been the key the whole time.
In all seriousness, I'd like to see Mullings now that he's finally apparently healthy.
Why not? See if you can get something going in the running game. I mean, I still would say, Joe, particularly at this stage of his career, Cam Ward having to throw the ball 42 times in an NFL game is probably not the formula you're looking for, just in terms of trying to have success and win football games. However, like they cannot run the ball right now. They can't do it. I mean, if it's not going to be Cam Ward scrambling, they can't run the ball. So when you just can't do it, I guess I understand just dropping back and trying to throw. And look, I know the score was a big factor in that yesterday too. I mean, at one point they were down 20? Was that the most that they were down?
It was 30-10. Yeah,
they were down 20 in the game. So when you're down 20 points in the NFL, you're gonna have to drop back and throw the ball. So I understand all that, but I just thought I don't know. Like, Ward still got sacked 4 times yesterday, so it's not going to help out the average all that much. He's now been sacked, I believe, 45 times this year. So I mean, the sacks, it's not like they went out there yesterday and it's like, well, they just solved the sack problem. But I'm with you. Like, I did think that he just looked more decisive, I guess is the right way to put it. And that's when to tuck and go, when to get out of trouble in the pocket and try to extend the play that way. He made a couple of plays in the game that, had they not worked, you'd have been looking at and saying, oh, man, I don't know about that. I'm talking, underhand flips and, getting out of trouble. He threw one. He was being like drugged to the ground and fired one off. I think it was to Chig on the plate. And it was like, wow, just kind of an amazing play to get that off. There were more instances throughout the game yesterday where you saw a play that he made. And I thought, okay, that's pretty good. That's a kind of a symptom there of why they took him number 1 overall with the play that he made. Like, I felt pretty good about Cam Ward walking out of that game, knowing who the defense that he played has just been lights out all year long.
Yeah, absolutely. Texter here says Cam should have been running the football from the jump this season. Coaching malpractice for not utilizing his legs more. I disagree with that. Look, Cam Ward isn't very fast. I don't know if you've noticed. Like, he's not a guy that you're gonna do a lot of stuff intentionally with. But you just look. You need to be able to extend plays and elude people, and he has been able to extend plays this year. But I feel like I think the running that was successful yesterday is not a coaching thing. It's just it's if you're a quarterback, and especially you look back, everybody's heads turned there, and man, look at this side of the field, it's wide open, go, or just whatever. It's 3rd and 6, and you know what? There's nothing immediately, and there's a gap. Go get it. And I just think it's just about him. It's about his decision making in a snap on the field, and that's where I think that's what I think has grown. They're not. His career is not going to, head in the direction of like using his legs on purpose. But obviously, in this league, there are fewer and fewer quarterbacks who start for NFL teams who can at least do some play extending, moving around. One of them is Jared Goff, who your Packers are going to sack 17 times on Thursday.
Well, there aren't many. They picked up a couple of first downs yesterday, Joe, where he either by him just straight up running or him escaping, getting out of the pocket and finding somebody down the field. And especially right now with this team and where they're at, that's what you got to do. Like, and I feel like he was probably passing up on that more often than he should have earlier in the year because of what we've talked about. He's looking downfield. He's trying to make the big play down the field. And I just thought it just kind of looked like he was reacting and playing football yesterday for a lack of a better way to describe it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, it's in, like you said, he got sacked 4 times. There were some, I think, Mandor was swinging open and then he got blew a hinge and that's something to watch moving forward, because as unimpressive as he's been this year, you can get worse, and they will if he can't play. And then I thought Latham, I don't know. I can't wait to see the numbers on Latham. I thought he had obviously some bad plays, but I do think that there were also, I mean, for as much as they threw the ball yesterday, like you said, 42 attempts, I thought the protection actually held up pretty well.
Yeah.
More than you would have thought in a game like that against that defense in that situation, down 20. And it's just like those guys are just able to tee off. But yes, I think that I agree with you. It's just, he just made some plays and he is, again, like the Mahomes stuff, the comparison, no one should be compared to Mahomes. He certainly is. It's not a good comparison, you know, but he is good at some off schedule stuff, you know, and so you mix that in with what I thought was a fair amount of, okay, get it out quick, move the ball, get your 4 or 5 yards. I think that's a nice mix if you can find that balance.
By the way, I'm just setting, not to get too far ahead here because their big game against the Jags coming up, as we know, Joe, a big AFC South matchup between the Titans and the Jags. Beyond the Shador versus Cam Ward game that's coming up here in a couple of weeks for the Browns, have you seen what Myles Garrett has done and is close to, as the calendar has not yet flipped to December?
What did he do yesterday? I didn't even see it.
Myles Garrett has 18 sacks on the season. 18. The single season record in the National Football League is 22 and a half. It's held by TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. They play San Francisco this week. As long as San Francisco keeps him under 4.5 sacks, which who knows, maybe they won't. Myles Garrett may have a chance to break the single season sack record against the Titans coming up here in a couple of weeks. Let's say Myles Garrett ends up with like a sack or two this week and he's sitting at like 20 heading into the Titans game. Oh boy. But yeah, he's got 18 sacks and it's November the 24th.
So, and think about that in terms of what we were just talking about, right? Like when do you, I mean, that'd be an interesting exercise to go back through like the all-time great sack seasons and find me how many of them were on terrible teams that don't have leads in the fourth quarter where you have, okay, just go. We're not worried about the run game. Just go. I mean, they're up on the Raiders.
Yeah.
They're never had so he never gets the benefit of being on a good team and having favorable situations. Like they're always in either behind or in some stupid 9-7 game. And he's doing that.
He's got 13 sacks in the last 4 games. 13 in the last 4.
My goodness. How about Shador, by the way?
Yeah, look pretty good. How
He
about
was
Dylan
pretty
Sampson?
good.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's true. That's another one. Like Shador, incredible. Look at, he had a how many yard touchdown pass? Dylan Sampson,
2 yard time line of scrimmage.
Yes, but I will say, I mean, here's an example again, like being between the haters and he's the greatest thing ever. I mean, I thought he showed some stuff from the little bit I watch where he can play, and I would go with him. Kevin Stefanski, who's been all on, no, Dylan Gabriel's a starter, did not say that yesterday. So Cam Shador, here we go.
615-737-1025, our phone number. A lot of your thoughts to get to on the Titans. We will do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025, the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Titans fall 30-24 to Seattle yesterday. They dropped to 1-10, but pretty good stuff from Cam Ward in the game. Take your thoughts on that. 615-737-1025. Let's welcome in Mike in Gallatin to the program on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Mike, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Hey guys, man, thanks for taking my call. So sitting there watching the Titans game, I got done and it was depressed. Is not like the way that we're watching these Titans games, but like it's somewhere where it just feels like you wonder why you sit through and you continue to watch. And yesterday's game was the first one in quite some time that you got done and you went, that was palatable. Like we actually, somewhat enjoyed what we had going on. I got done after you're having the picture-in-picture, which thank God for picture-in-picture abilities. We were not the worst team in the entire league, and it wasn't even close. Watching all those games, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, giving up 10 sacks, I know you guys just covered this, but giving up 10 sacks against the Browns, that's just wolf. Quick question, what's tougher for you to sit through and watch? A Predators game similar to the one like they had on Saturday against Colorado, or like the worst Titans game that you can think of? Like, both of those are so tough, but man, it's depressing when both are bad. And I'm just curious what you guys' opinions would be on that.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. I mean, I will say
That's a good topic.
It's a good topic. I said earlier, Titans are dead last in the NFL. Preds right now are dead last in the NHL. Look, people are going to chuckle at this, and I understand this. That's fine. Preds played probably one of their best games of the year on Saturday and scored 0 goals. No doubt. I mean, they dominated Colorado for like 60 minutes straight up, and Colorado's coach basically said so after the game, and yet they just can't score. I mean, that's what it is. They can't score. So to answer Mike's question, Joe, I would say the Predators game Saturday was more palatable than what the worst of the Titans has been.
But in general,
they're pretty comparable.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If you are, obviously, a lot of people would answer one way or the other because they're like more of a fan of one or the other. But if you're one of those people who loves both sports, is fans of both teams, yeah, which maybe some of that has to do with like arena experience, in which case I would say the Preds would have the edge, right? But that's an interesting question. I like it.
It is. It's a kind of the state of where we are in Nashville sports with two
it is
dead last teams right now. Good stuff, as I mentioned earlier, from Gunnar Helm yesterday. 6 catches for 51 yards. Nice to see him get a little bit more involved in the game. Obviously, Dike, and I was going to talk about this later. We can go ahead and do it. How good is this guy? That's my question, because the return game is kind of speaking for itself right now. I mean, he had a 90-yard return. We were talking about heading into the year. Like, when's the last time the Titans have been like relatively dangerous at all in the return game? And right now, Joe, I think it's pretty clear. They have the best returner in the league. Like, I don't know that it's all that close. Like, they have the best returner in the league. He is their best weapon on the team when it comes to his ability to, and Joe, even, beyond the touchdowns, of which he's now got 2 punt returns on the year for a touchdown. He got another one that's been called back. Like, even beyond that, he's had some where he'll break off 25 yards here or there, and he just changes and flips the field. I mean, he's really, really good in the return game. Receiving wise, I still think there's some room for growth there, but he did have 5 catches for 44 yards yesterday and a touchdown, including a 25-yarder in the game. What do you make of Dike and his emergence coming in as a 4th-round pick this year?
Yeah, well, he's an all-pro, I think. He's on pace. He should be an all-pro. He should be the all-pro returner. And, I don't know if he's going to be Devin Hester or something like that, where it's just like feared around the league, but what a weapon. And a lot of times you see those guys, I think, going way back to age myself, like Mel Gray would be one of these examples too. Like, they're sometimes those amazing returners, like, they don't really end up being productive receivers. That, like, Hester was just like a gadget guy, right? He didn't do much as a receiver, but obviously he was just an unbelievable returner. I mean, DK looks like one of those guys who is going to be, I think, a productive receiver too. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a massive production receiver, but he looks good doing that. And sometimes it is just simple, like when you are that fast. I mean, he looks every bit of his fast 40 time, which is 4.3, whatever it was.
Yeah.
In the combine. But it is more than that too, of course. It's more than that. He just has an instinct for it. And it's just some guys just have that feel. And I don't think there's any question that he does. I mean, it's a huge find for the Titans because I think you're going back to what? You're probably going back to Pac-Man Jones, right?
Mariani had a good run. Like Mark Mariani had a good run where he was pretty good back there for the Titans. But yeah, like in terms
was
of,
he ever this scary?
No, I mean he was good. I don't know that he was not as explosive as this. Like Pac-Man could be explosive. Now Pac-Man also had a few returns where it's like, hey, idiot, you just lost 17 yards
right.
trying to run around and do all this stuff. But yeah, I mean he obviously some huge plays that he made. But yeah, like they're different, but it's been a long time since they've looked this explosive in the return game.
I thought it was encouraging from Dike. I was a little bit worried when you're a rookie returner and you get your first injury during a return like the week before, and sometimes that can make you a little bit hesitant moving forward, And I was pleasantly surprised. He showed no hesitation coming off,
no fear
after getting hurt the week before in a return. So that part I thought was good to see.
And that's the thing that to be great at that, you have to have a certain level of recklessness about your body, right? Like
somewhat insane.
Because you are going to take huge shots. No, I mean it's fun to watch and it's a big deal. And I also, I guess I would look at the special teams coaching. Does that deserve some credit for some of his returns? I mean, you probably would want to try to keep that going too. Whoever the next coach is, I would advise trying to keep Fossil around.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, look, we got all over special teams coaching last year, right? And deservedly so. I mean, they were all-time bad in the special teams part of this last year. They've been really good this year. I mean, look, there's not a lot about the Titans that you feel great about. And look, Dike wasn't perfect yesterday either. I mean, the kickoff that he kind of flubbed and went out of bounds where you had to start on your own 3 or whatever it was. Like, obviously you don't want to see that. Yeah, I got a little bit of grace for him, though, based on the way that he's played throughout this year. Like that, Fossil has been really, really good. And, with this, as inept as this offense has been for the majority of the year, some of the plays that he's made, like if this is what he is as a returner moving forward, and you can build up your offense around, add to the offense and be more dangerous, more explosive there, and you've got something. I mean, look, if he's going to be this as a returner, I don't know how much. Eventually, people are just going to stop kicking to him, I guess. I mean, you're just going to try to avoid it, but that's a good thing. Like if you're that in the head of the opposition as a returner, I'll take that all day long if I'm the Titans.
No, absolutely. And then, obviously there's opportunity now. There's more opportunity. There's a necessity in terms of Dike as a receiver, and he's had some big moments. I thought yesterday you saw a couple really nice plays, and I think that his speed is starting to become a thing where he's really making people notice on the defensive side of the ball. Where does that go? The Titans would be better off with like Calvin Ridley out there in terms of if they want to win, but this is going to end up being a lot of key reps. So while everybody's all focused on catching strep, I like the rest of this year for Dike as a receiver too, to kind of establish himself. I mean, he's going to end up, looking like an awfully good 4th round pick.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We will get into the defensive side of the ball yesterday for the Titans. Coming up next, take your thoughts on that. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning is having a coat drive tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Seven Cedars Butcher Block on the Lebanon Square. They'll be collecting new or gently used coats and jackets, and they will go to Lebanon needy families. So make sure you keep that in mind. Again, that's 3 to 6 p.m. coming up tomorrow. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action. From queso to kickoffs, this is how Macero does game night. Macero Football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap. We'll have Cory Curtis with us later in the program. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll get his thoughts on the Seahawks and the Titans from yesterday. Joe, we knew heading into this game that while the defense frankly has been playing pretty well, given what I think are some pretty obvious personnel limitations and an offense that for the most part this season has done a good job of keeping the Titans in some of these games. But we knew heading into this one the matchup was going to be tough. Like I looked at the Titans secondary specifically, and I was like, I have no idea who they have that's going to try to hang with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And here we are yesterday, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 8 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe, I was out at an establishment watching the Titans game yesterday. I had the Titans game, the Packers game, and the Lions game all in front of me. It was a beautiful setup, just beautiful. Loved it. And at one point I was with a buddy, and I looked up, and I was like, all right, Sam Darnold's got like 211 yards passing. How many receiving yards does Jackson Smith and Jigba have? And he looked at me. He's like, yeah, he's like at 150 right now. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it just absolutely, that's all he's doing, throwing the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba. There was actually another play, Joe, later in the game where they tried to get one to Cooper Kupp, I think on 3rd down, may have been 4th down. And you looked at the play, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, right when Darnold's releasing the ball to Cooper Kupp over the middle, and Smith and Jigba is just streaking wide open down the right side of the sidelines. Like he could have had, another 65-yard touchdown on that play. That guy, pretty darn good out there for the Seattle Seahawks. And finally, a Titans defense yesterday, Joe, that's been playing very well, but they did not have an answer for number 11 from the Seahawks yesterday.
No, and honestly, when he came out of college, I was like, I mean, he's going to be good in the NFL. Like, just whatever Ohio State receiver you have an opportunity to draft, just go ahead and draft the Ohio State. Although I understand, like Harrison actually, yeah, there's a possibility for the Titans. I guess Harrison actually has not lived up to the expectations yet. Although I'd caution people against giving up on him, because remember JSN early. Now he was at that point they had a stacked receiver room, but there wasn't a lot. I mean, it's kind of taken a little time, and now he is a absolute monster out there. And yeah, the Titans not quite equipped. I'm sure L'Jarius Sneed would have just locked it down.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be back soon, right? To lock down these top receivers.
Oh yeah,
sure. So. Someone texting Amani Hooker's cheeks. Let me just say, though, he's a safety. So if you get your safety isolated with any good receiver in the NFL, you should expect your safety to lose that battle. That's why he's a safety, right?
Yeah.
So that you can look at,
unless he's every.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at what you're doing defensively if you end up with situations where Amani Hooker is trying to keep up with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Now, in general, like it's not been a good year for Amani Hooker. It's
true.
You get the contract extension, and I think there's some cause for real concern there about what that's going to be as they move forward here. But yeah, like that play specifically, as soon as I look back, I was like, Hooker's doing his best to keep up, but that's probably not going to end well. And sure enough, it did not end well.
It did not. Yeah.
I mean, look, the guy is having a freakish year. When we talked about it heading into the game, so I think he was at 1,100 something yards heading into the game. He puts up another 167 yesterday. I mean, he's going to end up flirting with 2,000 yards this year as a wide receiver. So you have to keep that in mind. Like he's having a great year. But it was, I think, an example yesterday, Joe, of even though the Titans did at times come up with some big stops and some key moments, and again. Like you look at them, they put Darnold under some pressure at times in big situations yesterday where I keep looking at their roster. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing this. Like Arden Key had a sack, Hottie Ward got back there a couple of times, but I think yesterday a pretty good illustration of how limited from a talent standpoint the Titans defense is.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's 30-10 with 6:40 left in the third.
Yes.
So, I mean, this was on its way to. I mean, I think if the Titans' offense would have been a little more competitive earlier in the game, I mean, they took their foot off the pedal, right?
Yes.
They took their foot off the pedal. Game was over, and so then, and that's how you can mess around in this league and lose a game like that because the Titans get it down to. Although they didn't get it down to 6 points till inside a minute, but there were opportunities for the Titans after that to really put pressure on them. And I think if Seattle was full bore, they could easily have hit 40 against the Titans yesterday. By the way, Darnold and those guys get the delightful Minnesota Vikings coming on into
You know who sucks?
Hey,
JJ McCarthy. Boy, is he
Yeah.
bad. You got to watch
Yeah.
every snap of him yesterday. My goodness, he's bad.
Yeah, it's it's like I look at it and it's like, okay, so how many games has he played in the NFL? Like what, 6?
Not very many. Yeah.
But everyone is like, he's done. I mean, I saw like Dana Rossini. We've talked with Charles. You and guys talked with Charles about it, right? Last week, Dana Rossini put out there, the big question in Minnesota is McCarthy going to be the quarterback next year? All this stuff. I'm with you. Now, I've seen him also, like, he made ridiculous throws to beat the Lions on the road this year. Now, the Lions suck, but still, I mean, he was really good in that game. But everybody's going to give up on him. I mean, JJ McCarthy is going to be, to me, he's classic reemerge somewhere else because I still think that there's something there. But yeah, I didn't watch that game yesterday, but his accuracy and all that is kind of a mess now, isn't it?
Not very good. I mean,
So they're going to go into Seattle, and Darnold's going to be like, "Hey guys, remember me?
Yeah.
Glad you picked that guy. Man, here's about 400 on your ass."
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well. One texter says Cam Ward looked like an NFL quarterback yesterday, and that's great news for Titans fans. But he still needs to work on into the game tempo. They were going so slow with 2 minutes when they needed 2 scores. I have noticed that at times this year, Joe, where it's like, I don't know. I mean, early on in the year, I was screaming at Brian Callahan about it. So, I guess to be fair, I should be screaming at Mike McCoy about it. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I don't know if it's a Cam Ward just internally needing to realize that you got to pick up the pace a little bit. But there are some times out there when they're trailing late in games where I'm like, hey, man, you don't need the play clock to be going down to about 4 seconds left here. You got to go. Like, get out there and go.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like basically like they just looked at it as garbage time.
Yeah.
Which I suppose you could say, well, they were right, but I agree. There is at times it's like, guys, go, like you are playing the clock here. You are trying to win, I think
so. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. A couple more thoughts to get to on the Titans front. We will get into Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia specifically dominating Kentucky in the 7 o'clock hour. The Vols in the streak in the swamp, setting up just a massive showdown on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. We will get into all that in the 7 o'clock hour as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Cory Curtis from News 2 with us in 1 hour at 8 o'clock. We will get into all things Seahawks and Titans with him a little bit later in the program. Taking your thoughts on the Titans in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Let's head to our phone line. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Dustin in Hopkinsville to the program. Dustin, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. It's a good Monday. We didn't win yesterday, but for me, we won. I enjoyed that game. That's the first complete game they really put together. There was only a few times I got tired of seeing Pollard up the middle. And, I think that I'll ask the question for y'all, but I'm going to answer my question, too. Are we ready to say Cam Ward's the guy? And for me, it's yes. Today is the day. Yes, he is the guy. And he's got a lot to work on still. But, man, he implemented the tight ends. He ran around like a madman. I think he probably had more yards than both of our running backs. But just imagine what we would be today without the man Borgonzi. Look all over the field yesterday where he passed that ball to Helm, Dike. We'll throw Restrepo in there. He gets another game from me. I'm not ready to say he's a world beater or nothing. I think he will be because of his footwork and getting open. But I think we're righting the ship. I've been hard on Amy. If she steps back and Brinker just holds Borgonzi's hair and does nothing else, we'll be good. Because that man made some picks. And I did not want Cam Ward at number 1. I did not. And after the preseason, I finally said, hey, he's our guy. Let's see what he's got. And every time Trey calls in, I have to call in and say, look, dude, chill. Give him the season. But, man, this team is looking really impressive. And do we have as many holes as we thought? The line is the one thing, if I could have a genie in a bottle and rub it, fix the line, and I think our team would look totally different, the offensive line. But I'll hang up and see what you guys think about calling Cam Ward the guy today.
Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate it. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to call Cam Ward the guy today.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, I think he's meaning like I took that as Dustin thinks the Titans that's the franchise quarterback, and yesterday's performance solidified it. Is what I'm taking that as to mean. I'm not going to go there. It was good yesterday, and now let's keep in mind, as good as it was yesterday, and I think as the common theme I have seen from Titans fans that we have heard from today is they actually felt halfway decent, either walking out of the stadium or turning the TV off when the game was over yesterday, and that's not been a very common occurrence. I mean, I would like to remind you, they had 3 points at halftime, right? They had 3 points at halftime, and late into the third, the only touchdown they had scored was a Chim Dike punt return for a touchdown. So there's still a lot of work to be done offensively. Having said that, yesterday, to me, unquestionably a positive development for Cam Ward. But no, I'm not willing to say that he's for sure going to work out yet.
No. He's going to be the starter next year. And I would argue it would even take quite a bit of failure for him to not be the starter in 27. But yeah, the guy it's encouraging. I think he has a chance to be a good quarterback. It depends on what lens again, if you want to look through the lens of number 1 overall pick, you could still sit here and say, what? Right? Like that doesn't look like the number 1 overall pick. But at this point, it's just about trying to improve, end up with a good quarterback, and then end up with a good team around the good quarterback so you can win football games. And I think all that is possible. Let me just quickly get to this texter, Robby,
okay.
On McCarthy. He says, play good somewhere else, Joe. Really? He's throwing to Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson. He's cooked. It's a war crime to throw under 100 with those guys. Look, we would all agree that J.J. McCarthy's bad right now. Okay? He's bad. Are we really going to say, nope, forget that career when he hasn't played half of a season of football? I'm just saying. You tell me that there's no way that guy could ever be good in the NFL. This is the this is the sickness we have in the NFL, you
Yeah.
know, which is just, oh my God, well, throw him out.
Well, again, that goes
He's
back
toast.
to, I think, even taking that back to Dustin's comment there. Yeah, I would like to transport, if I could, like transport Titans fans back in time to December of 2006, right? Vince Young's
Yeah.
on this incredible run, and the Titans look like they were dead in the water. And then Vince Young makes a few plays throughout the year. I mean, the one that really stands out to me is the overtime run in Houston, right? Like everybody, I think if you're not even a Titans fan, like you probably remember if you're an NFL fan that was watching football, that play, right? Like he just took off and ran and they scored and they just like basically ran through the tunnel in Houston. And it was like the end of that year in 2006, they had just drafted Vince Young. He was 23 years old. And while you looked at the passing numbers and they weren't good, like nothing blew you away, right? Like I think he ended up with 2,199 yards, 12 touchdowns, 13 picks, completion percentage of 51.5. Like those numbers aren't good. However, if you watched him play and you asked any Titans fan on earth at the end of that year, is Vince Young the guy? All of them would have said, yeah. I'm like, yep, he's the guy. I mean, even the next year, it's not a very good year for Vince Young. He still took him to the playoffs the next year. And then he totally fell off a cliff after that. So I guess what I'm saying is, I think it's so hard to know whether or not somebody is actually quote unquote the guy their first year anyway. And the Titans have a firsthand example of, Vince Young won Offensive Rookie of the Year in his rookie season and still just totally crashed and burned as a quarterback for the Titans. So there's still some distance here, some ways to go in this conversation before we're ever going to know.
Well, fast forward 9 years after what you're talking about, and Marcus Mariota, wins a game in New Orleans with Mularkey as interim coach in a rookie year that showed a lot of promise, showed more promise than this rookie year has. And then go a year after that, 100%, he's the guy. He's going to be the Titans quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. I mean, other than you said he sucked then. But Marcus Mariota, what he showed as a rookie, and then the next year, let's see if Cam Ward can get to that. Okay. Now, Mariota also got himself a good offensive line in year 2 and a good running back in year 2. And all of a sudden, holy cow, they have a center, they have a right tackle, they have a left tackle, they have a running back. And all of a sudden it looked way better. Let's see if Cam Ward can have a good team around him. I'd like to see him, perform with better conditions and see what they have. But yeah, it's just too early it's no matter what happens, it's too early. It always was going to be too early.
One texter says, just tuned in. Have you apologized to the fans for dissing them for thinking Restrepo deserves a chance to play? All you talking dogs on the radio think you know so much more than the fans. This is from an unnamed texter on the text.
All right. That's trolling. That's trolling, right? Like, this is not a serious text.
Joe, would you like to apologize to the fans?
I'm calling out unserious text here.
Who, by the way, I think last week, didn't we say, put him out there. Why not?
Yes. I mean, have we been yes. I don't think we've been sitting here saying, shut up, fans. He will sit and you will like it. I don't think that.
I think the only thing I push back on is like some fans have thought that, Restrepo is going to be like some 1,000-yard player out there when they finally put him out there. And I was like, okay, he's probably not going to be that. And the NFL's kind of told you what they think about the guy, but I'm glad he got on the field. Now, again, have we apologized to the fans? He had 2 catches for 26 yards yesterday, guys.
He dropped a touchdown pass, by the way.
You're acting like he's Randy Moss. Like he had 2 catches for 26 yards. Again, good for I'm glad he got. I really am. I'm glad he got out there. I'm glad he got his moment in the NFL. I hope he plays again. Hope he plays again this Sunday. But no, I'm not apologizing to the fans. Sorry.
Yeah, he's good for him. Finally, in late November, after Mason Kinsey and many others got opportunities, they threw him out there. Like, if he was that good, do you really think that the Titans of all teams, as talentless as they are just gonna just not check it out? I mean, good for him. This is not Restrepo yesterday is not cause for either side of that ridiculous debate to scream. Just okay, good for him. Got a couple catches. Play him again. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. It's
that was a trolling text. I don't believe that text is serious.
I don't know.
It's not a Big Joe troll. Joel said that's a Big Joe. I know Big Joe's number. Now, maybe Big Joe has a burner. I guess it's possible.
Could be. I mean, congratulations to Restrepo yesterday. I Cam Ward, it's a very positive development yesterday that he played as well as he did. And again, I keep going back to, especially against the defense that he played. That's a good defense that they played yesterday. And he found a way to make some plays with the supporting cast that he had around him yesterday, which is not very good, right? Like, it's a very young supporting cast that's very unproven in this league. So it's a positive development from Cam Ward. Now, as the season goes on, and as you round the corner here, I mean, look, they're 1-10, they're 11 games, we got 6 left coming up. Over these last 6, can you continue to take some positive steps where you get to the end of the season, Joe, and it's like you can point to some real progress that he's made from the beginning of the year to the end of the year? Because if that happens, number one, I think you're going to have a totally different feeling if you're a Titans fan heading into the offseason, regardless of how bad their record's going to end up being. And we know it's going to end up being bad. But number two, like, I think you look at it at that point and say, you know what? Look at everything that happened to him this year. They fired the coach. Calvin Ridley basically was a non-factor all year long. They had a bunch of young guys, a bunch of kids out there playing at wide receiver. They had an offensive line that, every now and then it's almost gotten him killed throughout this year. And you know what? He got through it. He made some serious progress, and he's better for it on the other side. That will be the talking point at the end of the year if he continues to take strides like he did yesterday against Seattle. And to me, that's a very good thing for the Titans. They need that development to happen.
Absolutely. No, it's good. There's growth happening. And I think there's been a little bit, in recent weeks, but there's been a lot of, to me, like step forward, step back, all this stuff. I mean, yesterday to me was a clear step forward. And so that's a great thing. Also, I think all of this is kind of an example of just how down bad this franchise and its fan base has been. I mean, look,
it feels like they won the game yesterday because we're talking. It's like, well, they only lost by 6 to Seattle in the NFL.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, it's like Eddie Murphy and the saltines and the Ritzes, man. Sometimes the saltines taste like Ritzes when you just haven't had any for a long time.
Diego Pavia, a totally dominant performance in what I think is going to be his last home game at Vanderbilt. We will get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
what emotions were you dealing with tonight on senior day?
Well, was the last time I was ever going to play in the bank? When coach was talking, he got emotional. And it was I don't really cry, and I was crying before the pregame it's a dream come true for me as a little kid. I've always dreamed of playing in the SEC, being on this stage. We got one more game to go and punch our ticket to the college football playoffs.
That's Diego Pavia after a dominant performance on Saturday. Vanderbilt wins 45-17 against Kentucky in a game that was not even that close. I mean, it was 45-3 heading into the fourth quarter. Diego Pavia, 33 of 39, 484 yards passing, which is a Vanderbilt record, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception in the game. He also had 48 yards and a touchdown on the ground as well. So, Joe, over 500 yards of offense that Diego Pavia put up in this game. And if you were looking for kind of a way to close things out, the home portion of his Vanderbilt career, not a whole lot better than that in terms of just the pure performance that he put there. Joe, you were there for it. What did you make of Diego Pavia and his final home game at Vanderbilt?
No, the guy's unbelievable. And he keeps, to me, getting better. And the way he's throwing the football now, especially the first deep touchdown pass to Trey Richardson, but both of them were just like, you cannot throw the ball better than that. And he's just and look, Kentucky is highly motivated. They held Auburn to 3 on the road. They destroyed Florida, which I know we can see Florida. We'll talk about Florida, but like Kentucky is a good defensive team. They look, what they did against Ole Miss and against Texas, which I know Texas is up and down. That's a good defensive team. Now they were banged up too. They you get to this time of year, you got some starters missing on defense, but there was no reason to think that Vanderbilt, to me, was going to do what they did, and it's all about Pavia. And he has good weapons, but he's playing at an incredibly high level right now. After the game, I asked him about his improvement as a passer. He's like, "Yeah, you guys never thought I could throw." I'm like, "Well, I didn't say you couldn't throw." But I mean,
Rexrode's a hater.
There was a little bit of like, yeah, you did throw, did you?
You think I suck? Say
it. But I mean, it's amazing the 3-game run he's on. It's to me separate, and it's not the most important thing. I know somebody will always get mad at us when we even bring this up. It's kind of a big deal. If he goes in and plays at around the same level and beats Tennessee on Saturday, at that point, he's got my Heisman vote. I mean, I think it's hard. Like I'm some of it is a story, and to me, that's not the most important thing. It's like, who is the best player in college football? Yeah, that's what it is. Like I can't get to Julian Sand or like Fernando Mendoza as a better college football player than him, or it's getting harder to get there. Again, he has to do that, which is going to be very difficult. But at that point, he'll have my Heisman vote. Now, the Heisman votes don't come in until after the conference championship games, and he's going to have to sit and watch all that, and you have to just let it all unfold. But I think he's given himself a chance to win it, a chance at this point. But you got to go in and do ridiculous things against the Vols. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's insane. I'm watching him, and I'm like, okay, if you can throw the ball like that and move around like that and extend plays and see the field, somebody in the NFL is going to like you.
Well, Trey Richardson had 3 touchdown catches in the game. Again, I mean, Stowers' numbers didn't blow you away. I mean, 6 catches for 36 yards. But again, you watch that guy play, and you're like, yeah, he's a problem.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty darn good. Like I said, it was 45-3 heading into the fourth quarter. There was a funny kind of shot on the sideline of like Diego Pavia clearly trying to stay in the game and get back out there. And Clark Lee is like, Diego, no, you're not going back out there. It's just
and he
not
did.
happening.
He won. Diego won.
Exactly. And he got back out there. So it was very funny. Look, it's a dominant performance from Vanderbilt offensively. I mean, to me, Joe, and look, I realize Kentucky's not very good. But like you said, they have had some good defensive performances this year. Now, as people have pointed out, like the 2 teams they played in Tennessee, they've surrendered 101 points against them. So it's not gone well for Kentucky in the matchups of the teams from Tennessee in this state.
That's true.
But like to me, it's also a yes, you needed to win the game. I think from a college football playoff standpoint too, like just absolutely destroying Kentucky helps you as well. Like looking as good as you looked offensively, and him playing as well, Pavia playing as well as he did, matters in this discussion. So look, it's all going to come down to Saturday, and we're going to get into that here in a few minutes. And frankly, we're going to get into that every day throughout the week because it's a massive game coming up on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. But a good performance from him, and right now, Joe, the offense for Vanderbilt is humming heading into this game against Tennessee, and that's going to be a really interesting matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, look, I think I don't like either defense on Saturday. I don't. I love both offenses. I don't like either defense. You know, like when you get a stop either defense Saturday, you get a stop. You should go to the sideline and celebrate that because I think it's going to be a unless weather, and I don't think it's supposed to be cold, but it's not supposed to be bad weather. I mean, unless weather disrupts it, I think you're going to see these teams going up and down the field on each other. And yeah, the style points are good. You know, a lot of people after the game were watching the Utah incredible comeback. If Vanderbilt wins at Tennessee, they're going to be past Utah. Now, I think Vanderbilt would be past BYU. Now, again, you're looking at BYU. You know, it would be if they went out there 11-1, and then if they lose to Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game, I still think Vanderbilt would beat that team out at this point. But even with that said, they have to get past someone ahead of them in the SEC. Now, Vanderbilt's, according to Austin Mock, our playoff, they more than doubled. Their chances went up to like 29%. So I think they're like 14. They went to 29%. So again, that is the probability. A lot of it is that people, they're not favored to win at Tennessee. But still, who do they get past in the SEC? Who do they move ahead of? Because Missouri totally botched that. Your boy Dorkwitz just completely, turtled up and went Mike McCoy in that game.
Yeah, he sucks.
So you got the Lane stuff. Because if the Lane stuff messes them up and they lose to Mississippi State and he leaves and the committee is like, oh, so now your play caller's
they'll be out.
They'll be out. That's Vanderbilt's ticket. Alabama at Auburn. Can Auburn pull that off? And then, of course, Oklahoma plays LSU. I mean, LSU's talented enough to do it, but they're not exactly playing like gangbusters. So it's going to take help. I think one of those three teams I mentioned, I think, has to lose, or I think Vanderbilt's going to be the last team out.
Joe, I know it's
first team out. Sorry, not last team out. The first team out.
I know it's not the most important thing at the moment because there's a massive game coming up, but I do want to get your thoughts on this really quickly. Is Jared Curtis about to flip from Georgia to Vanderbilt?
It certainly looks that way. I mean, basically, the quarterback they had committed, decommitted. I mean, Billy Derrick asked Pavia after the game about, I think this might be an NCAA violation. Maybe it's not anymore. I don't know. But Pavia's like, yeah, I hope Jared Curtis comes here and he's got like Patrick Mahomes' arm strength or arm talent and all this stuff. And he was also speaking on behalf of his backup, Blaze, and he's going to be in there too. But yeah, I think that's a formality at this point that Jared Curtis. Georgia fans have resigned themselves. He's gone. You'll rue the day that you screwed over the visor. Yep. And Vanderbilt fans seem to be celebrating it. It's just it hasn't been made official, but it looks that way. So what a massive, if it does come out. And you know what? I was talking with Gentry in the press box Saturday. And it's like, I mean, he doesn't really like his skill set doesn't fit this offense. He is a big. I think Gentry compared to Matthew Stafford. Big, rangy, incredible arm, 5-star. Like, but to me, it's like, you know what, man? If you're a good coach, good OC, you'll go ahead and can he move it all? Like, yeah, you'll figure it out. Yeah, playing to his. I mean, look, Vanderbilt's offense to me has changed in the last few weeks to where it's just like, I mean, they do some option stuff. They have the misdirection, all that, but I mean, basically, they're spreading the field and saying, Diego, wing it around, man. And so what they're doing the last few weeks. I mean, if you have a guy with that level of talent, I think you can make that work.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Vols in the streak in the swamp. We will get into that coming up next, which also sets up Just a big one at Neyland Stadium. Your thoughts on the matchup between Vanderbilt and Tennessee? We're going to get to that all week long. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We'll have the Rob Rant coming up here in just a few minutes. Cory Curtis from News 2 at 8 o'clock. We'll get into the Titans and Cam Ward's performance with him. Joe, the streak is over. Tennessee heads into the swamp. They win 31-11 and take down Florida. So Florida drops to 3-8. Tennessee gets to 8-3. First win for Tennessee in Gainesville since 2003. Obviously, very well documented heading into that game. Joey Aguilar, 17 of 22, 204 yards, 1 touchdown. Quarterback rating of 94.9. Tennessee ran the ball 51 times, 51 rushes, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground for Tennessee in this game. It was 31-0 at the half. And then Tennessee, I believe, had 3 offensive possessions in the second half and cruised the end of it. I have some things to say to Vols fans that I will get to here in just a few minutes. But, Joe, your thoughts on Tennessee ending the streak in the swamp?
Yeah, it's not like these kids have any – I mean, maybe, you know, other than maybe kids who, like, grew up – who are on the team who are, like, grew up Tennessee fans, have that probably that much sense for the history here. Fans obviously do. But it did feel a little bit like in that first half, like getting out many, many years of frustration.
Yes, it did.
At the expense of the Gators, which, again, it's like there were so many other opportunities over the years for Tennessee to do exactly that. It's kind of interesting that this is the team that does that. But, yeah, they just went out there and kicked the crap out of them, and good for them because that's what they should have done. And so for the Tennessee fan, I would imagine that first half was a little bit cathartic, if not a lot cathartic. And
it felt
again, when you watch that and you watch it and you watch on both sides of the ball what they're doing, and it is a shame. You know, it's a shame that because right now we could just have Oklahoma move to the side, and we could have Tennessee and Vanderbilt really, truly playing for a playoff spot. That's what we should be talking about this week. It's still a huge game, but that's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about Tennessee and Vanderbilt just straight up playing for a spot. So it's too bad that all the stuff that had to happen to help Oklahoma in that game in Knoxville happened, but that's what happened. This is still when this team puts some things together, and hey, I don't know. You tell me, Robby. Maybe not a bad idea to get Boo Carter out of the.
I was going to say that. I mean, look, I understand Florida's not good, and Florida's passing offense in particular is just bad. Like DJ Lagway, I'm really interested to see what happens with him. He's obviously got a lot of talent, and Joe, there are some games where he'll put together, a few drives. Where you're like, wow, I mean, it's really good. By and large, they're not very good throwing the football. But I did notice, on the road, in the swamp, you played about as well as you can play defensively in terms of defending the pass. They had one breakdown at the end of the game when the game was over. And I did wonder, Boo Carter's not out there. They sure look a whole lot better with Boo Carter just off the team. Now, it's Florida, so we'll see what they look like against Vanderbilt. But I did notice that.
Well, maybe it's as simple as okay, no longer a distraction, no longer someone you wonder if they're focused, if they watched film, if they want to play, right? It's just okay. I mean, that can be a real pain in the butt for a team if you have just one person sometimes who's in a key role who is just and again, you go back to leaders not wanting them back on the team and all that stuff. So, yeah, again, I guess you could play Monday morning quarterback on that whole thing too, but regardless. Tennessee is still a pretty darn good football team, and again, that is like Ethan from Lawrenceburg pointed out. They could be playing even, I guess, right? They could be playing for a spot in Atlanta potentially, but certainly they'd be playing for. That's what you want to do in the SEC now is you want to avoid that. You want to avoid that game, but they certainly could be playing for a spot in the playoffs. So I mean, we had a texter who said, sorry. Texter was like, no way a 2-loss SEC team gets left out. I mean, do the quick math for you. Notre Dame's going to get in now.
Yeah.
So there's one. Group of 5 gets 1. Okay. Big Ten is going to get 3 because Oregon beat USC. So how many is that? Is that 5?
Yeah.
So let's say the ACC and the SEC each get 1. And I think that's still most likely. Okay. Texas A&M's in. Georgia's in. Ole Miss right now is in. Oklahoma right now is in. They're ahead of Vanderbilt. Alabama right now is in. How many is that? Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Bama. Okay, we just filled the field.
That's
I mean,
12.
so
Yeah.
you can't sit here and say, no way a 2-loss SEC team is getting left out. If everything goes according to if all these teams win their games, and Vanderbilt is, again, probably going to be the first team left out of the field. They need help, along with the toughest part of the whole thing, which is going to win in Knoxville on Saturday.
This is going to sound kind of dumb, but it just is what it is. There was a moment early in the game I knew Tennessee was going to win. I mean, besides the fact where they just scored 4 touchdowns on their first 4 possessions. But Mike Matthews, I think it was the second drive of the game. Mike Matthews caught a 21-yard pass and was 1-on-4 with Florida and just plowed through all of them. Like, he picked up like 7 yards, just lowering his head and plowed through all of them. And I was like, I have seen a Florida player make that play against Tennessee approximately 80 times in my life. And that was the moment, Joe, I knew they were going to win. I was like, they are the more physical team by far. Mike Matthews just drug like 5 Gators with him, 6 yards. They're going to win. That's when I knew. I think it was 7-0 at the time.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, like those early possessions, I mean, seriously, it was like, is this like a 7-on-7 scrimmage right here? Like, it's just like whatever they wanted to do. And it's kind of, obviously, it's sad to me that this is not going to be an annual thing. This is part of the, all the people who have screwed up college sports, and some of the things that you get. In some cases in college sports anymore, you have great rivalries that are just completely wiped off the face of the earth. But it's kind of nice for Tennessee at the end of that as an annual game to go ahead and finally get that done in the Swamp.
Well, and the one thing I would say on that too, it's pretty clear. I think if you listen to them after the game, if you watch them after the game, that game meant something. And Heupel kind of talked about that. He's like, it's pretty clearly meant something to our guys. So, like, I mean, Vanderbilt is going to mean something to Tennessee on Saturday. If you were convinced that, well, Tennessee is out of the college football playoff running and there's just nothing left to play for, like, from a mentality standpoint, those guys wanted it on Saturday, and they're going to want it again, obviously, this Saturday. That doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think if you were expecting Tennessee after the Oklahoma game to just lay down because they're not getting in the college football playoff, that clearly did not happen on Saturday.
No, and good for them. And that's, look, man, the playoff keeps getting bigger and bigger. I think it's as big as it needs to be. It's going to get bigger. I mean, they're seriously trying to push this 24 thing. It's the dominant topic, but like, there's a lot of teams out there that are playing for bowl games and there's a lot of teams out there spilling their guts and playing hard still. It's still a great sport. There's still a lot of pride out there. And I think it's great to see, a Tennessee team come out and do what it did and care about that game. And I think this game is big for Josh Heupel. We talked to the Topster a couple weeks ago about the prospect of, this loss or the next loss. And obviously Saturday is huge. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But you look at like Heupel, and obviously he's got to figure out Georgia. I mean, he had a field goal. That's the thing. I was sitting there lamenting the Oklahoma game. I mean, just make a field goal against Georgia. The same thing.
Yeah.
They're in great shape. So he's got to figure that out. But they've been more competitive there. But like, he's doing pretty well against the teams that you need to do well against as the Tennessee head coach. And to get this one in the Swamp in this season, that's a big deal for him.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll have the Rob Rant coming up next, Cory Curtis at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Chase and Big Joe broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday. Prior to the Monday Night Football game, Monday night matchup is the Panthers taking on the 49ers. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
I can assure you that the gap is closing.
He looks like a Sherpa on the sidelines taking people up a mountain.
Somebody run over the fraternity. Throw a freaking brick through their window.
Hey, Butch, you're at the 1 yard line. What are you going to do? Hey, let's throw it around the yard.
People make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
I don't know.
Go Gator.
Well, every day I look in the mirror.
Just kiss my ass.
Let me say this about the great state of Tennessee. Just come on down to Tennessee where there's no prostitution. They're all volunteers.
To me, this is the dumbest possible outcome. It is time for the Rob Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Speaking of Tennessee, I have a message for a certain section of Vols fans here. What's wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? Joe, in the aftermath of this game, Tennessee wins 31-11 on Saturday in the Swamp. Have not won there since 2003. The 31-11 margin of victory, Joe, ties a program record for the largest margin of victory over the Gators on the road in the history of the series. The history of Tennessee playing Florida. They just tied their margin of victory for the biggest one ever. And there's a certain subsection of Tennessee fan bases that are just absolutely pissed at Josh Heupel for, quote, taking the foot off the gas in the second half. They had the ball 3 times in the second half. It was very clear that Florida's offense wasn't going to do anything. So just take the air out of the ball, get to the end, and win the game, which is what they did. They ran the ball 51 times for 248 yards. They absolutely ran it down their throat in this game. And there are Tennessee fans that are legitimately mad about their performance in the second half. And I have just decided, Joe, that there is no making these people happy. You just want to complain about something. You want to complain about Heupel, and that's fine. I'm not saying Heupel's totally blameless all the time. But now they just won in the Swamp for the first time since 2003, and you're gonna complain now? Like, can you not just enjoy a win? You can't just enjoy beating Florida 3 out of the last 4 years, winning in the Swamp for the first time since I was a child, 11 years old. I'm now a grown married man with a kid. That's how long it's been since they won in the Swamp, and you can't enjoy that? I am convinced that Tennessee could win the national championship against Ohio State 75-3. And there would be people that would be just totally pissed that they gave up a field goal in the game. And it's all they would focus on. I, for the life of me, cannot understand some of the reaction I have seen from some of these Tennessee fans in the aftermath of Saturday, just whining about the second half of a game on the road that you won by 20 points. It's amazing to me. If that's your takeaway, stop watching sports. If there's no enjoyment that you can get out of what you watch, what are you watching it for? It's amazing to me, some of the conversations that some of these Tennessee fans are having in the aftermath of that game.
That's a perfect rant. It's truly amazing. Now, so we had Nate text saying, even 31-0 at the half, I wasn't, convinced they were going to win. So I get that, right? It's like, what are we going to do to screw this game up? And I also, I get that if you're a Tennessee fan and you just lived through that half and it was so enjoyable and you got so much, frustration out, right? 31-0, just, yes, I want 52-0. But I mean, so there's this, bloodlust. Yeah, keep
That's
going.
Fine. That's not even what I'm talking about. There are people that are legitimately pissed off that think that they sucked in the second half.
Right. So I understand. Oh, are we really going to win? And also, of course, hey, you'd love it to continue, but to get to the point where you're actually upset about it when you just, like you said, get out of there. Don't get anybody hurt. Just both sides just wanted the game to end, right? It's just the game is over. It is this is again one of these. Okay, how many people are we talking about here?
A lot. But I've seen them a lot. Way more than there should be. And I'm sure when you as we know, Joe, Tennessee's got a massive fan base. I understand that. And the majority of them, I think, have some common sense and realize what just happened on Saturday. But yeah, it's a lot. It's way more than it should be that are mad about beating Florida on the road by 20 points. Which, by the way, Joe, I guarantee you, if you told them that was the outcome before the game, they'd have been like, "Yeah, way to go! All right, cool."
Of course. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's man. Like you said, I guess some of it may be just I don't like Heupel, so I'm going to be mad at him every opportunity I get.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's truly not understanding that it was 31-0 at the half and it's just time to run the ball and move on. Heupel is one of those coaches who, as we know, he's not afraid to keep throwing deep on people. He's got Joe Milton out there throwing bombs against Missouri up 100 a few years ago and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little built-in Heupel's one of those guys who he's going to go Spurrier on him, but I think he played exactly right, and I think good for him, because it's just you made your point, right?
Well, I thought it was equally humiliating. They couldn't stop Tennessee running the ball. They knew they're just going to hand it off. They couldn't stop them.
There's that too.
What they have the ball at the end of the game? Didn't they have the ball for the last 7.5 minutes of the game? He just turned around and handed it off. And they could not stop them.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's actually. The thing, I think the ultimate disrespect in football is when you're you get up to the 1 yard line and you could punch it in on someone and you're just we'll just kneel here. Thanks guys. If you're blowing somebody out or whatever. And so you're right. If you're just hey, you know what? We're just going to hand off the rest of the half. See if you guys can stop it. We'll keep the ball all we want. Yeah. That is a bit of disrespect, right? That's a bit of a smack in the face. But I get it. I don't get it. You're right. You should scream at these people. It's absurd. But I get the idea of you have visions of a 50-0 win. It's just once you see it unfold, okay, great. Well, anyway, we beat Florida by 20 on the road. Yay.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing to me, some of the conversation, which as Eli from Smyrna brings up, I guess Heupel, he better win on Saturday because my goodness, if people are this mad about a 20-point win against Florida, he better not lose to Vanderbilt. There'd be people there trying to run him out of the facility if they lose that game on Saturday.
Well, if he loses to Vanderbilt, Tennessee fans can be mad. Be mad.
Sure.
I'm
just saying, if this is a reaction to a 20-point win against Florida, they're going to have to hire security over there if they lose to Vanderbilt on Saturday.
A texter says, wouldn't you be concerned with Vandy coming in? The balls did not flex a little offensive muscle. They were up 31-0
at halftime. Good
Holy
grief.
Crap.
What do you want them to do? We do. Look, I understand Florida's not good. We do realize that Florida is not, it's not like Tennessee's out there playing ETSU, right? We understand that, don't we? Didn't Florida last week almost beat Ole Miss? Did I miss that?
No, they beat Texas. They should have beat Georgia.
Tennessee fans, 20-point win on the road against Florida is not good enough. Have you been alive the last 22 years?
Yeah, how could you call yourself a Vols fan if you don't understand that history?
Good grief.
Right?
Just my blood pressure's getting up. It's driven me nuts all weekend. What is wrong with some of you people? 615-737-1025 is our phone number. With that out of the way, we will get to Cory Curtis from News 2. Up next, we'll get his thoughts on Cam Ward's day and the Titans' loss to the Seattle Seahawks to drop to 1-10. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. And as we do every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Cory Curtis from News 2, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Cory, good morning. How are you?
I am a delight, Robert. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I appreciate you taking time to join us today. Congratulations to the Bears for holding off a valiant attempt by Titan great Mason Rudolph yesterday.
You know, he's a veteran gunslinger, and they held him down.
They did. Rexrode at one point called him a top 3 backup in the league. So I'm glad to see Mason Rudolph continue to spin it out there yesterday for the Pittsburgh
Some people
Steelers.
think the Titan starter's a backup. So.
Well, there is that. There is that as well. So let's start there. Cam Ward, 28 of 42, 256 yards, a touchdown, quarterback rating of 91 yesterday against Seattle. Look, Cory, I realize it's professional sports, and they lost the game, and they're 1-10. But I mean, let's be honest about where the Titans are right now. The fact that they hung around in that game against that defense, against that team, I was pretty stunned by, and I thought some real progress from Cam Ward yesterday. What did you make of the way that he played against Seattle?
I thought it was a huge step forward for him. I thought he looked calm, under control. I think like his running last week helped open up running this week, and I think his stepping up in the pocket, drawing in linebackers, also I think has helped him see that it opens up some other things in the passing game. Where he's able to step up in the pocket and get rid of the ball. I think there was a third or fourth down where he dumped down to Tajay and he ran for the first down. So, just more of taking the easier throws and allowing guys to do work for him. I thought he was good yesterday. And I know there's debate about, moral victories and everything. And I get that, but I always say I'm more concerned with how are you playing than just wins or losses. And, he played better and there are parts of the team that are playing better. And so they're headed in a better direction. They got a long way to go, but at least now I don't feel like they're getting worse. And for about 6 weeks this season, I felt like they were getting worse each week.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I don't know. I guess he was just reluctant. I don't know. There were just times early in the year where he just didn't seem like he wanted to run much, and he would probably take some sacks, that could have been 5-6 yard scrambles. Feels like he's been making those throws, Cory, where he sends a play, he runs one way, throws across. He's been making plays like that all year. Here he's been sprinkling those in, but it seemed like in this game he's moving around and he's maybe seeing the field better because he's making some of those. Okay, now you suck him up, and now let's jump this over here, playing like a point guard in basketball a little bit. Draw the defense to you on a 2-on-1, dump it to your guy, which to me I think just probably signals. I know it's a cliche, but like the game, quote unquote, slowing down for you a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, and yesterday the game was really fast. I mean, that Seahawks front is brutal. And you saw, that's a fast, physical, and violent defense. And I think that was one of the things that impressed me. That was a game that could get to you. Leonard Williams is a beast. Byron Murphy's a really good player. And, that's a game that can have you running backwards. And it didn't. And so, seeing that, yes, is definitely progress. And it did look like it slowed down for him. And I think one of the encouraging signs you've seen the last 2 weeks is the third down percentage is better. I think they completed 5 fourth downs, yesterday. And so, they're able to keep more drives alive. And I think Peter Skoronsky said 2 touchdowns is a really low bar, and he's right. But guys, 1 touchdown was a bar. So if we can raise the bar to 2 touchdowns, that's a good place. The opening drive was really good. It was really good until that 1st and goal where Tajay got dropped for the 6-yard loss. And when you saw the replay of the third down play, nothing was open. You know, it was covered, and he did the right thing by extending it as long as he could, and then just eating it. And so he made a lot of really good decisions. You know, I didn't love I know some people liked it. I didn't love it. The third down long ball to Gunner. He should have caught it. There's no question about that. It was in his hands. He should have caught it. But this team needs to move the chains. But you know, you can shoot. Restrepo should have caught the touchdown too. So.
Oh, don't say anything bad about him.
Don't say anything bad about him.
Don't say anything bad about
we can't do
Restrepo. He
that.
was amazing.
2 catches, 26 yards yesterday. I think people ready to put him in the Hall of Fame.
He did okay.
He's fine.
He did all right. And you know the touchdown ball was a tough play, but he had his hands on it.
Yeah.
And you know what do we always say about pro receivers? Catch the ball. And that's not me bagging him. I'm just saying. I'm sure Strep would say he should have caught it. And hit his hand.
So on the Chim Dike front, I mean, it's amazing watching this guy return.
Yeah.
And then he adds a touchdown in the receiving game yesterday. I mean, you know, we've seen this at different times throughout the franchise, Corey, whether it was Pac-Man or, you know, Mark Mariani went through a nice stretch where he was a good returner for the Titans. It's been a long time since they've been dangerous in the return game. And man, what a play that he made yesterday in that return game. They've got something special back there in him.
Well, I mean, this team's needed speed for a while. And, you know, they drafted him. He's a 4.3 40 guy. And you see that smooth speed where he just slides across the field and up the field. And Bones Fossil deserves a ton of credit. I mean, he has revamped their special teams in an incredibly short period of time. You know, each time he's had these touchdowns, you know, he makes it happen. But, I mean, you saw a wall for him yesterday. And I think we saw a wall for him, you know, before. And he's had good kickoff returns as well. I mean, when you look at this team being 1-10, special teams is not 1-10. I mean, they've got the special teams of a good football team. And, you know, Chim Dike is a part of that. And if, you know, the Pro Bowl is nice. If he's not all pro, it's a crime because he has had a fantastic rookie season when no one even wanted him to be returning in the first game because everybody was worried that they hadn't seen him do it before.
I invoked the name Devin Hester earlier, which, you know, of course, need to offend you with that. And I'm not saying he's that.
Maybe he will be one day. We don't. It's early, but I mean, the early returns are unbelievable.
Yeah. So to that point, it does seem like some of those guys are, for whatever reason, they end up, you know, they don't do a lot at receiver, right? Like, I mean, if I recall, like Hester was like he'd be out there some a little gadget play here and there, he'd make a big play.
Yeah, but he was a defensive back.
God, was he?
Yeah, he was a defensive back out of Miami, who, by the way, the Titans wanted to draft. Yeah. But actually, Floyd wanted to draft him, but Jeff had to have Lindell.
Oh, good move. Wow. Well, sorry, I reopened that old wound. But the question is, you know, because I think about Melgrade too, Corey. You and I are old enough to remember.
Yeah,
I'm an insane returner.
Billy White Hughes.
Yeah, and he was at least like a productive receiver. But why are some of these guys? They sort of end up really focusing on the return aspect. And do you think DK? Are we seeing enough all around from him that he can be not only a long time special returner for the Titans, but a guy who's going to be consistently productive at receiver?
Well, I think if I don't have the metrics in front of me, and I'm not a huge analytics metrics guy, but I did read where he has had more separation. I think he's among the league leaders in separation in his route running. And so, you know, which would lead me to believe that, you know, he is good in his routes. His speed, you know, also reflects in the passing game. I don't know if we've seen him drop a ball yet. And I think he's a good football player. I mean, I'm wondering how Florida only got like 23 catches from him last year. I mean, what were you guys doing? I mean, so yeah, I mean, look, I think he's a wide receiver. I don't know that he's a wide receiver one. I mean, I don't think he has to be. I think he can just be a good player. Because right now he's a special teams player. But, if he can be a guy who averages 10, 15 in the receiving game and catches 50 to 70 passes a year for you, that gets him close to 1,000 yards. And I certainly think he's capable of that from what I've seen to this point. Now that they've stopped throwing him the ball exclusively behind the line of scrimmage, I mean, that's been a nice step forward. That's been a nice move with the coaching change, the forward pass to Chim Dike.
So, Cory, I think you would agree it's been an admirable stretch here that the Titans have been on with their defense. Like with the talent that they've thrown out there over the last few weeks, they're scrapping, they're clawing, they're fighting, and they've performed, I think, much better than we thought. And look, even in the second half yesterday, heading into the fourth quarter, they made some key stops and big plays. But I think we knew heading into the game that the matchup with Jackson Smith and Jigba was going to be pretty darn difficult, and boy, was it difficult. That guy is real good.
He's really special. I mean, he is. I mean, we went into the game, and I was just like, this guy is their biggest nightmare every play, is because he could score on any play. I mean, they are a big play pass offense, and when he went for 63, my first reaction was that's what they do. And the Titans, they do this to everybody. The Titans aren't special in this one. Kubiak does a nice job, getting the matchups he wants, and they got Njigba matched up with a safety one-on-one, and Hooker's coverage wasn't terrible, but he is an elite receiver, and he catches the football, he uses his body well, he uses his speed well, and for a while there, I thought he was going to go for 200 yards. And so the only way to stop Njigba is to stop Darnold. I mean, that's really it. You've got to get a pass rush. And you saw when they got pressure on Darnold, he was mortal. The one thing they didn't do yesterday was get them to turn the football over. And there was a play in the first half when they were up 3-0, where if Marcus Harris could have completed the play, they could have been up 10-0 because that would have been a pick six. I think he was stepping in front of Kenneth Walker, but Walker also got his hands on the ball and broke it up. But that's how close this league can be. And look, the Seahawks are still better. They're a really good football team. But, they were close to turning him over a couple times, and they lead the league in turnovers. So the fact that they were within 6 and didn't do it is amazing. I know we're talking about Njigba here, but I guess that's my whole thing. The only way to slow him down is to slow down Sam Darnold. That's by hitting him.
Speaking of Darnold, Cory, I want to take this NFL wide here for a sec because, because the Vikings go play and go get to see Darnold in Seattle, and of course, the guy that they decided is struggling mightily. He looks terrible, but at the same time, Cory, like I sometimes look at the conversation around this league, and it's like, how many times you people need to see someone stink early, give up on this guy has no chance, and then wait for him to come out 2 years later and be a good player, which I think is possible. I mean, 6 games? I think Robby said he's played 6 games, and people are like, he is just hopeless. It's over. There's no chance, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, why do we have to jump to this so quickly? No one should be jumping to either good or bad right now on Cam Ward, in my opinion.
Well, because some guys have ruined it for us. When you see when guys come out their rookie years, Vince Young wins Rookie of the Year. RG3 has a big rookie year. CJ Stroud has a huge rookie year. Jaden Daniels transforms the Commanders in 1 year. Now, we see, you hear the 4 names are brought up.
Those are all examples of not overreacting. Why you shouldn't. The other way, right?
Well, yeah, and so everybody wants to see that year from your rookie quarterback. And by the way, all of those guys regressed from that rookie year. All of them. And so that's why you can't overreact to it really good or bad. You've got to just kind of see where guys are headed, what they're made of, who they are, what they are at quarterback. And look, I still think Stroud and Daniels are going to be really good. But, they've also proved this the last couple of years that they're mortal and that they aren't perfect. I mean, people are ready to put Stroud in top 5 category his second year.
Yep.
And he's proven he's not there. You got more work to do. And so you're right, Joe. And we're old enough to remember, where like, Will Levis last year, he would have gotten another year.
Yeah.
Or two. I mean, you drafted a quarterback and they pretty much got their rookie contract to work it out. You expected them to stink. Okay. But you knew it was going to be tough. And also teams didn't put on them what teams put on rookie quarterbacks now. They didn't expect that much from them. And, look, should they expect more from them than they used to? Absolutely. Sure. They slow played it way too much. But, you're seeing, like with Cam Ward, we just had week 11 of the Titans, and he played his best game. So, yeah, I mean, it's too early. I mean, and we react too much to one game, that's why with this game with Cam Ward, we're like, okay, that's a good game. Now play 2. Now play 3. Now get it. Now put 3 touchdowns on the board. Now throw 2 touchdown passes in the game. Because Mariota threw like what 4 his first game.
4 perfect passer rating.
Yeah. And so you've got you need to see growth more than you see anything, and we talked about that at the beginning of the season. That's what this year was about, was the growth of Cam Ward. And I think that's what some of the stuff that was concerning early in the years. You didn't know if you were getting that. And I know everybody likes to bag on Mike McCoy, but I feel like they're playing him better now. I mean, he's clearly better out of the pocket, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when he gets out of the side and gets the field in front of him, and I mean, he looks comfortable out there, but they didn't ever want to do it before. And now they do. And I think the results are pretty good.
I think we just heard Cory Curtis advocate for Mike McCoy to be the head coach of the Titans moving forward.
I did not say that. I'm just saying that I feel
you heard
like
it here first.
I feel like he's improved more under Mike McCoy. I will say that. I mean, you guys can tell me I'm an idiot.
No,
I don't care.
I agree.
I mean,
I think it could just.
You ought to tell Kuharski
like,
that too.
Yeah, well, he likes him now too, actually.
Yeah.
But couldn't that also just be like the timeline, Corey? Like, it's going to take a few weeks, and then like he was.
Well,
I don't know, but
it could be. But I think that it's like he said in his first presser, players over plays. I think they're doing more of what he likes now instead of just the offense that they want him to run. And so look, he's seen a lot of really good defenses, so he's experienced a lot. But he's also, not throwing to the guys he was throwing to earlier in the season. So, that he gets even more credit for that. But, the growth is there. Regardless of the reason, there's growth there. Yesterday's promising, in a number of areas. And, we keep talking about the run game with him. Nobody's looking for him, because I don't know if it was because he was afraid of being labeled as a running quarterback or something like that. He wants to be known as a passer, and that's fine. But Patrick Mahomes,
you can do both.
A passer, but he uses his legs to advance the ball. Russell Wilson, when he was playing at a Pro Bowl level, used his legs to advance the sticks. And he's you do that 4 to 6 times a game. That's all you're looking for, and just enough to extend 2 or 3 drives. And it puts points on the board. We saw it yesterday. On the opening drive, he extended a drive with his legs and put points on the board. It may have only been 3, but it's 3 they wouldn't have had. So it's good.
Corey, thank you, sir. We appreciate so much you taking time to be with us, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. We will talk to you next week.
Very good, sir. And happy Good Friday when the Bears take on the Eagles.
I believe that's Black Friday, but yes, same difference.
Yes, different Friday, but yes, yes.
It might
it'll be a good one. Could be a good one.
It could be.
It'll be a Good Friday for the Bears. It'll be a Black Friday for the Eagles.
There we go. Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we'll react to what Corey had to say coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. This afternoon on Totally Hits 93.3, catch MTSU men's basketball as the Blue Raiders take on George Washington, the former president, at 4 o'clock. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. Appreciate Cory Curtis for being with us in the last segment, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Cam Ward with a good day yesterday in the loss for the Titans, 28-42, 256, one touchdown, quarterback rating of 91. Joe, as you watched the game yesterday, knowing that, again, there are no moral victories in professional sports, what's your takeaway if you're a Titans fan watching your quarterback do what he did against that defense yesterday?
You should be excited, certainly pleased with growth from him. I don't think there's any question. I think yesterday was a step. I think Cory said huge step. I don't know if it was it was a step. And I think he has been taking some steps lately. So I think you should be encouraged by that. I think encouraged. I like encouraged better than excited. I mean, look, I'll take it to Dennis, our unpaid graphic illustrator and one of our best contributor listeners, who says this on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. He says, quote, "Some Titans fans are excited about that game, but it is depressing for me. That's how bad this team is. The number one pick threw for 250 and a touchdown in game 11, and I'm supposed to be excited about that? And oh yeah, the practice squad wide receiver caught 2 passes, and people are taking a victory lap," end quote. First of all, Dennis, on the victory lap stuff, don't even get me started. If you are taking a victory lap right now on Restrepo, please stop. Like, talk to yourself in the mirror, okay? I mean, like, good for him. Like we said last week, play him. Great. Let's see what he can do. If you came away from that game saying, "Oh my God, the strep is spreading around the league," then okay, sure. But I agree with Dennis to some extent. Like, this is how low the bar has gotten, right?
Yes.
What's where? Yeah. But at the same time, we've talked about how low that bar is. So it's not right. And so I do think that you should be encouraged as a Titans fan that Cam Ward's getting better.
No, I agree. And especially, again, considering the defense he was playing, the supporting cast that he's got right now, which is basically a bunch of rookies out there, right? I mean, Gunnar Helm, Chim, Dike were your primary pass catchers yesterday. They caught 11 balls. And Iomanner didn't even play. You got Prochet out there off the practice squad. Restrepo off the practice squad. I think Van Jefferson, I forgot, was playing. He had 1 catch for 11 yards. By the way, he's getting nothing from the running game, right? Pollard, 11 carries for 20 yards. Spears, 3 for 4. Chestnut, 2 for 3. I mean, the running backs combined for 16 carries for 27 yards in the game yesterday. So all that taken into account, yeah, like I thought yesterday was very encouraging for Cam Ward. It doesn't have to be anything more than that, right? Like it's a very encouraging day. Now let's see where he goes from here.
Right. And that is a good answer to Dennis, which is, so what are the best friends of a quarterback? A running game and a defense. And they both were no-shows. And he doesn't have, I mean, again, unless you're one of those who believes that Xavier Restrepo is a star in the making, he doesn't have a ton on the outside either. And he threw for the 250 against that defense, against a really, really good defense, and the touchdown and made some plays. That is encouraging.
615-737-1025, our phone number. A couple more thoughts to get to on the Cam Ward front. We'll take your reaction to the Titans dropping to 1-10 after the 30-24 loss to Seattle yesterday. A lot of your thoughts on the Titans front coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Titans lose 30-24 against Seattle, but pretty good day from Cam Ward. Taking your thoughts on that, 615-737-1025. Joe, one texter says, where was Big Jeff and his leadership? Never heard his name called one time yesterday. Was not a great day for the Titans defense yesterday. As you pointed out, and at one point it's 30-10. They did make a couple of stops after that, and they deserve credit for that, but it was not one of those overly dominant Jeffrey Simmons days that we've seen a lot this year. I thought Seattle did a pretty good job of limiting his impact on the game. And when Jackson Smith and Jigba is wide open, half a second into his route every play, that also helps your offense.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Let's get some complaining going,
Let's do it.
folks. I mean, we can't be too
been very positive on the show today
for the 1-10 Titans. Yeah, the D was pretty bad. Jeff was, I'd say he was key in the sack that
Arden Key got. Key
got it.
He was key in the sack for Key. Good job.
Ooh,
look at you.
There we go. But yeah, I agree. It was pretty rough. Like I would have expected the defense. That's the thing. I think if the defense had played like it has been playing, you might actually have had a chance to win that. I mean, if your offense scores 24 points through the Tennessee Titans, you got to hope you're on the right side of that score at the end of the day. But the defense, yeah. And like you said, JSN, man, he's
really good.
I don't think people talk enough about him around the league.
No, he's gonna get 2,000 yards this year. He's pretty close, man. Like he just set the Seattle single season yardage record yesterday, and it's November the 23rd at the time.
Like where did he go in our fantasy draft? I mean, the only thing I know about our fantasy draft is that I destroyed Kaharski this week, and it
end of the
really,
second,
really good.
End of the second, I think.
Okay.
And first, third, early third round and a second, somewhere around there.
That's a good pickup for whoever the hell got him.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, speaking of Chim Dike, I would love to know where his day yesterday ranks in NFL history in terms of average yards per punt return. He has one return for 90 yards. It's a 90-yard average. That's got to be up there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hester had like one return for 98 or something at one point, but still, it's got to be up there.
That's the thing. Hester probably had a lot of days of like one punt return because for the most part, people did everything they can to, you know what, just punt it straight sideways. Okay. just punt it over here. It's fine. But that's a good question. Yeah.
A 90-yard average is pretty good.
90.0. Yeah. 90.0 is pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there on that front. Again, like he caught a touchdown pass too. Gunnar Helm had 6 catches for 51 yards on 7 targets. So a better job of, I think, getting him a little bit more involved in the offense. Chig made a couple of big plays in the game. It was a performance in the second half where the offense was enjoyable to watch. And how often have we said that? I mean, even the Ward touchdown run, right? I mean, I don't know that you want him launching himself over the pile as much as he did, but when you're going for the end zone, I'm cool with it, man. Like, get in the end zone. That was good to see. I think his teammates responded very well to that, by the way.
Well, yeah, it's one of look, that's a Levis. I mean, Tannehill would do that stuff too. Every once in a while, you got to do that. You just hope you don't do that, and then that's the time that you get hurt.
He's tough, man. Like again, there's so much more from him we need to see, and yesterday was a good step in that direction. But I will give him. I mean, he got rocked on a couple plays too, in the pocket, and he just hops right back up. He is tough. I will give him that.
That's why it is dangerous to encourage your quarterback to run a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fine balance there. You want him to be able to escape, but that's not going to really, help his development. He needs to develop in the pocket, and you increase your chances of getting hurt. You should just take some massive hits.
Gotta be smart. Yeah. I will say though, he's pretty good at getting down for the most part. That's one thing I have noticed when he goes. Oh yeah, like I don't think Levis knew how to slide. Ward is pretty good at getting down for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had the end zone in sights, and so he went ahead and he launched. And I think again, that's another, you gain respect from your teammates. Fans love that stuff. You just want to really pick your spots there. But yeah, the idea, to Ian's point there on running him, Yeah, like I don't think that that's ever going to be an intentional part of the Titans game plan. But I agree with what Cory said, which is like as soon as I think some quarterbacks are just better than others at, like, for example, I think like Jared Goff is really good at all things are as they're supposed to be. You have time and you can see the field and the ball's out, boom, to the right spot. And some quarterbacks are just really good at, I mean, Holmes is good at all of it, but at the the scramble drill and all that stuff, and just seeing the field and being able to make a playground play basically. And so clearly he can do that.
Yeah. And again, he was basically the only thing they had going in the running game yesterday. And even beyond the running game, he got out of the pocket a couple times and extended plays down the field, or made a underhanded flip pass to Chig that got to its target. Like it was just overall an impressive day for him yesterday.
I do think it is nice to see Chim Dike run some routes that are not screens, like Cory brought up earlier in the hour here. It was strictly just bubble screens to him. Like, oh, can he like make a mini punt return here? Can we turn this into like a punt return situation for him and let him go? To see him in the slot, moved around, take some deep shots, it was good to see.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like what you want, that speed. Why can't that speed be a vertical passing game element?
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of that just to give it a shot. I mean, if you can some people just aren't, for whatever reason, some people are incredible with the ball in their hands, but they aren't, vertical route runners. But to me, like with that kind of speed, be able to run by people like that, I'd like to see that really leaned into in terms of stretching the field vertically.
What did you make of the offensive line yesterday? We spent a lot of time last week talking about the Mandor and J.C. Latham. It was 4 sacks for Seattle. So he actually, Joe, looking at the pace, I mentioned last week Cam Ward is on pace for 70 sacks. He actually maintained that pace. So another 4 sacks. He's up to 45. He is still on pace for 70 at the end of the year.
Well, some people have been bringing it, like Ed brought up earlier in the show. We never got to it. Zeitler's bad.
Not very good.
I mean, the QB sneak where he just launches himself into Casper the Ghost was really, that was
it's a very Titans thing that he's just totally lost himself as a player at this stage of his career.
Yeah, he's pretty cashed. And again, I thought Latham was okay except for a couple glaring snaps. But Dan Moore had some rough reps, and of course now he's banged up. So
Cushionberry too, apparently.
Yeah.
Yep, Cushionberry. Yeah. So I mean,
not good.
Think about as rough as it's been, those guys not being available, because that's the thing. That's the thing. If you're not playing on a team like this, it probably means you're not that great because they're not very good. So, like, let me read Adam in Portland's text. He says, I feel like Joe feels the same way about Xavier Restrepo as Kaharski does about Mike McCoy. Just throwing hate grenades. I don't hate Xavier. Dude, Robby, in camp, I predicted him to make the team. Wrong.
You did.
I loved him in college. But, like, let's read some of the tea leaves on Xavier Restrepo, a coaching staff that's trying to save its job, doing everything it can to win games early, anything it can to score a freaking point. And he's not even considered. And Mason Kinsey gets out there before him. So good for him. He got 2 catches for 26 yards. Let's see more of it. Like, people who are like actually acting like this was some, in your face. I just, it's really like, it's just a little too much. Like, my blood is boiling. It's so stupid. Stop it. Sorry.
By the way, pour one out for former Titans defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, who has been fired by the New York Giants this morning. So, Shane, enjoy yourself before I'm sure you find a job on Vrabel's defensive staff somewhere next year.
I mean, the thing is, they were kicking the Lions' butts up in Detroit yesterday. I mean, I understand that Jahmyr Gibbs went the distance on the first play of overtime. That was a tough one. Didn't touch him, but I don't know, man.
If the head coach just kicks a field goal at the end of that game instead of going for it on 4th and goal from his own 5, they probably win.
There is that too.
So just throwing that out there. But sorry, Shane Bowen got fired.
He will be in Foxborough. Yep. He will be unpaid, hanging out in Foxborough within 2 weeks.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Final thoughts on the Titans from yesterday, Vanderbilt's domination of Kentucky. Tennessee ends the streak in the swamp. And boy, do we have a good one coming up on Saturday between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We'll get into all your thoughts on that next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. A lot of thoughts on the text line to get to. Way too much conversation about Restrepo today. I don't think I'm going to entertain any more of it. We'll see if he gets back in next week. I'm glad the kid got in the NFL game. I really am. I hope he enjoyed it.
Adam says I'm full of it, though, that he didn't drop the TD pass. I think he should have.
I don't know if I classify it as a drop, but yeah,
DB,
like to see him come
DB
down.
was, yeah, the DB was in there too, but I think a lot of times that play is caught. So, yeah, it's again, I think a lot of it is just some people, and again, there are some people who consistently say dumb things, which shouldn't bother me, but I think there is definitely the hardcore strep catchers, just wanted to say I told you so. I mean, like, I have to see more to think that the Titans were way off base and not playing him all year. I didn't come away from Sunday thinking, oh my God, Titans, how could you have kept this guy off the field all year? I mean, and I again loved him as a college football player.
By the way, looking at the week before, Gunnar Helm 4 catches, 29 yards, which means they have gotten him the ball. What is that, 10 times in the last 2 weeks? Keep it up. I like Gunnar Helm getting the football out there. Get Gunnar Helm the ball, and the target rate's what gets me. I think he had 6 catches on 7 targets this week, and he had 4 catches on 5 targets last week. When they target Gunnar Helm, by God, he catches the ball. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, he did drop one on the sideline.
We're not going to count that. For the most part, when they target Gunnar Helm, he catches the ball.
Yes, in general, I agree. Keep giving the ball. Do more 2 tight end stuff. Which I don't know what the rates were, but it seemed to me like they did that a little bit more in this game. I mean, you got to play to your strengths. But maybe put Restrepo at tight end. Who knows?
Joe, it's a short week for us this week. We've got Tuesday and Wednesday, and then obviously Thanksgiving after that. So we are going to get pretty heavily into Tennessee and Vanderbilt over the next couple of days. I have to say, like, Vanderbilt coming out and just absolutely smoking Kentucky. Pavia looking the way that he did in the last game, last home game for him, and then the Vols ending the streak in the swamp, albeit against a very bad Florida team. It's going to be a fun week in our state. I'm with you. It's a shame that Tennessee didn't beat Oklahoma, and this is not, a classic win and you're in game for the college football playoff, but it's going to be fun. I mean, the juice level for a Tennessee Vanderbilt game, all-time high heading into the game on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. I'm excited for it. Excited to be in Knoxville Saturday. Should be, I think, a really good and a really high-scoring game. But this could have been the biggest game, because the Vols have had games where they've played Vanderbilt, maybe like decent Vanderbilt teams where they had high stakes, right? I mean, shoot.
I don't know.
I mean,
not really.
I guess when the Vols had their best teams, most of those years Vandy was not good at all. I mean, they were playing for the Sugar Bowl 9 years ago here in Nashville, and D Mace took it to old Butch, but yeah, that does not compare to this for sure. And this is a big deal. Hey, real quick, on the YouTube chat, someone's Go Forth says that Rand said he was going to draft Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. It was, I guess, whatever CBS stuff he's doing. He was talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and how he was apparently going to trade up and get Jahmyr Gibbs and pair him with Derrick Henry, and it didn't work out. And it was one of those things. I have no idea whether or not it's true. Joe, it reminded me a lot of this GM just texted me and said, oh, that was a great pick. I was going to take that guy. Or we checked every box and got all these coaches. It reminded me of that. It was just like, okay, he's saying things that we have no way of verifying whether or not they're true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, yeah, I agree with that. And then also, like, had he done that, like, they still would have sucked. That would not have been a good move. As great as Jahmyr Gibbs is, like, think about all the okay, I don't know. It's like everybody's good. Yeah, I was going to get Jaden Daniels too.
Well, and also as I'm thinking about it, he said he was going to trade up. And I'm looking back at the draft. So Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted, 2023, 12th overall. So the Titans drafted, I think, in 2023, 11th overall. They took Skoronski. So when were you going to trade up? Right after you pick, where you just chose not to draft Jahmyr Gibbs?
Wait, was that right? That was the 23 draft.
I think so. Let me go back and double check that. But
if that's the case, he could have taken it without moving up.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
So
is that true?
The more I look at it, I mean, let me double check that that's when this happened.
If it was the same draft that they took Skoronski, he's just making crap up.
They took 2023 Titans draft Skoronski at 11th overall.
I was going to
number
move
12
up with
overall.
My other pick
At number
to get
12 overall,
Jahmyr Gibbs.
The Detroit Lions draft Jahmyr Gibbs. So I don't know where the trading up was going to come from. You had a chance to draft Jahmyr Gibbs if you want to draft Jahmyr Gibbs, and you picked Skoronski, which is fine. But don't sit there and act like a couple years later you're going to trade up for Jahmyr Gibbs. Took him right before.
Is he a pathological liar?
Well,
That's absolutely insane.
Could have snagged JSN right there. Would have been nice.
He got drafted at 20th overall, too. I didn't even think about that at the time, but it's like, yeah, we're going to trade up and get Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, trade up from where? You got a chance to take him at 11.
I didn't want to take Will Levis. We were going to use that and a bunch of other stuff to get right back up to 12 after we drafted at 11. What? My God. Ricky thinks that we're biased against Tennessee and for Vanderbilt, by the way. We said Vandy smoked Kentucky and Tennessee beat up bad for a team.
I am biased against Tennessee for Vanderbilt. That's a great thought.
We got some text today, man. We got some text. I tell you.
Yes, we do. I got a lot to get to this week. Charles Robinson is going to be with us tomorrow on the program instead of Thursday. Obviously, we are not having a show on Thursday, so Charles with us tomorrow. We'll get into all things Titans and NFL with him. We will be hot and heavy into Tennessee and Vanderbilt tomorrow as well. Preds in action tonight, taking on the Florida Panthers. We will have you covered on all of it. Next man up with Jake Lyman is coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.